Hi, I'm Kumiko Mattison. My husband Patrick and I started this project in January 2021 to bring back Aeʻo, the Hawaiian stilts. We don't have them here because we have lost their habitats. And we're trying to bring them back by removing the invasive grasses and trees. Before we started this project, we couldn't even see the water here. This is Keaukaha pond, which was almost completely covered in the invasive grass. And there, Lokoaka is a much bigger pond, so it looks fine. But if you look at all the edges, that's all overgrown. And we must remove all of that. It keeps on creeping inwards. And eventually, the pond will be all gone. The black tarp over there is covering the invasive California grass. We're depriving them of the sunlight, so it dies. And it's easier for us that way instead of pulling them out. When we do the manual removal, if any underground stems or the root balls are left, they grow right back. But what we're doing is, after we kill the California grass, we plant the area with Āina, which is indigenous. And it's a ground cover that should be here. And Keaukaha, the coots and all the other birds love to come up on shore to forage and to rest. And for some species, they like to nest on the ground. So we need to have low-lying grass or plants. That's native, indigenous, and this is non-native. We weren't successful at this area because it's really rocky underneath. And there, it's really muddy. And we have planted Nanea, another indigenous species, on the slope. And that's Naupaka, another indigenous species. We had to remove the invasive species and then plant the area with the natives. Volunteers. Without them, we can't do this. We can't achieve this. The Seaside Restaurant, they have been supplying us with the tools we need. Cafe Pesto, monthly community volunteer day, they give us free pizzas. Express waiters, they deliver them for us. And many groups, school groups, have helped us. Keaukaha Charter School, Kaumeke guys have come. Kamehameha schools, various UH Hilo groups, and yesterday we had a UH Manoa group as well. My name is Kumiko Madison, and I'm the director of Āina Ho'ōla Initiative.
I am Brenda Fisher. I have been volunteering with Āina Ho'ōla Initiative since 2021, but I've been coming in and out of the islands for many, many years. And I remember the time when I really paid attention in 2018, looking at this pond and looking and not really being able to see the water and not realizing how big a pond this was, just with all the grass all around it. And the transformation from then to now has just exceeded what the scope that I have ever could have imagined. And we can't do it without everybody's help. We have to take care of this, because if you look around and look at all the invasive species, we're attacking just one here. But if you look around in all of our forests and all the invasives, we're going to lose this special land and our special animals and our special birds if we don't start taking care of this now. I am a transplant, and I've gotten a huge sense of community. I've made some really good friends and talked to some really neat people coming through, and I really look forward to my work days down here each month. This is my priority. When I drive by, I have a huge sense of pride looking out over all of this beautiful water, seeing the nene out there having a good time, the ducks, the coots, and everybody admiring this big pond. It's just amazing. It's just a magical place to me.
My name's Patrick Madison. My wife and I, Kumiko, founded Āina Ho'ōla Initiative. During COVID, we have a tour business together, and our business went to zero. And we had some time, you know, when COVID hit, we're driving around trying to see how we could make a change for the island. And Keaukaha was my first home when I moved here 26 years ago. It's my favorite part of the whole state. Āina in particular is my absolute favorite. It's such a beautiful place. We came here and realized that, I mean, we realized this for many years, but this California grass that Steve and I are removing has really suffocated this area and infringed on the mud flats where the native water birds nest and forage. Mainly the Aeʻo, the Hawaiian stilt, we want to invite back through our work. Many of the other birds have returned, and the Aeʻo has returned, but we only saw them one time. This is their home, this is where they live. And it's not like they don't want to come back, there was no place for them to come because these mud flats were covered by this very invasive and sturdy California grass, which is a foreign grass from Africa, brought over here by businessmen as feed for cattle, without regard to how much it spreads. And so we're slowly but surely, through the help of many, many volunteers, including today, removing that grass and transplanting with native ground cover. Āina, which is here along the edge, and Nanea on the bank, and Naupaka, and a couple of other ones. But the native ground cover actually keeps the invasive grass from coming up. And it's just a more familiar, natural place for our native birds. And they are returning. The nene returned just a few months after we started, and they nested 2 winters ago out here on the island, in the backside of the island. But another big part of what we do is trapping and killing mongoose. We have about 10 kill traps and about 10 traditional traps for both mongoose, rats, and cats. Just caught a rat this morning for the first time in almost a year. Mainly it's mongoose. Mongoose were also brought over here by businessmen. There had been a rumor that in the Caribbean, mongoose could combat the sugarcane rat problem. And this is in the late 1800s, mid and late 1800s. That was just a rumor, that was never true. But businessmen brought mongoose over here to take care of the sugarcane rats, which were affecting their yield, with no regard to what happens. You know, I mean, they are the biggest by far predator. They'll go right in and eat all the eggs of a nene's nest, and even the babies. They'll attack them and kill them and eat them. So mongoose are diurnal and rats are nocturnal, and so they never even hooked up with each other. So, well, there's one way to get rid of this California grass, and that is rip it out by the roots. That's what we've noticed. When it's super thick, we can cut it with a sickle, but we still have to get it from the roots or it grows right back. We come back a week later and it's halfway grown again. That's how resilient this stuff is. So I actually love pulling it out. I feel like I'm righting a wrong that my ancestors did in the first place by bringing the stuff over. So it's very important to our initiative to do what we're doing. It's very hard, but I have a technique where luckily I'm big, but I will grab a big tuft of it and then literally lean back and let my body weight pull it out of the ground. And it's rooted in the ground about 2-3 feet down in this area right now, depending on the tide. But that's what we do. And it's my favorite thing to do. When we started, this area of open water here was all grass. When I was in the water on that side, I couldn't even see across the pond because it was 5 feet tall of California grass. Kind of like this, but even a little bit taller. This is some of the progress, some of the evidence of what we've done. I mean, it's nice and wide open. We're making that gap bigger and bigger between the grass and the island. So this is a true sanctuary, this island right now. It's a predator-free zone. I have read that mongoose can swim. I've never seen it, and I would think I would have seen it because I'm in here all the time, but they definitely would walk over the grass. So separating the grass from the island makes it impossible for them to, virtually impossible. And then if they do make it, There are traps all over the place with delicious cat food in it. AinaHo'ōla.org is our website, and all of the information, Instagram, Facebook, is on there. We announce our volunteer days. We're here at least once a week, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week, depending on our schedule. And then once a month we have Community Volunteer Day. The awareness is changing and the thinking is changing. We're happy and proud to do this kind of work. Yeah, we love it.